calling, and that's why I'm sitting here creating. The hip-hop spirits called me to this.
He says he tries to incorporate Mongolian elements into his band's songs. He's an unashamed Mongolian nationalist, hoping to instill young Mongolians with feelings of pride. His stage presence is fearsome and slightly unhinged. He favours long wigs, a top hat, knee-high leather boots, and militaristic Nazi-style uniforms. And he worries about the purity of the Mongolian bloodline.
We have cases where Mongolians marry foreigners. I hope it's not all of us. I hope the majority will remain separate and keep their bloodlines pure.
This is the ugly side of Mongolian hip-hop. This song by a band called Forzug is called Don't Overstep the Limits, You Chinks. It's a violent, hate-filled tirade against Mongolia's massive neighbour. There are very few such songs, according to Gregory Delaplace, a Cambridge University anthropologist with an interest in Mongolian hip-hop, but they do reflect popular concerns.
The song basically translates a very well-spread idea in Mongolian society that Chinese people are sucking out the resources of the country and threatening Mongol people as a people and as an independent entity.
Outside a noisy nightclub, 22-year-old DJ Older Java says Mongolia really only started to find its voice once it started examining identity issues.
They only started talking about being proud of our Mongolian identity in Genghis Khan a few years ago. It's good, because before that, they were only copying Western bands or singing love songs.
Here, hip-hop is not the music of gangsters and guns. These mainly middle-class kids are also turning out tender tributes to their mothers, as well as songs of social criticism. In this young country, hip-hop isn't just providing an unlikely arena for political debate, it's also helping young Mongolians find themselves and their voice. Louisa Lim, NPR News, Ulaanbaatar.
The king of Hollywood news died this week at the age of 87. Army Archer was the first journalist to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His columns appeared in Daily Variety, a Bible for the entertainment industry. Army Archer always began with the words, "Good morning." He broke plenty of stories in his half-century at Variety. NPR's Karen Grigsby Bates reports on one in particular that had ramifications far beyond the entertainment industry.
Army Archer was the first to report that Rock Hudson, Hollywood's sexiest leading man, had AIDS.
The Rock Hudson AIDS was different stories print.
That's a 2003 interview with Archer on television. Almost 6 months earlier, a copy of Hudson's AIDS diagnosis in a French hospital. Archer recalled he held off reporting it while he gathered information. But when a gaunt and obviously ill Hudson appeared at a televised press conference at the side of his longtime co-star Doris Day, Archer said it was clear what was wrong with Hudson.
He looked off. He really was in the ravages of a dread disease.
Hudson's publicist and manager both denied he had AIDS, but the star eventually released a public statement confirming Archer's report. About 2 months after the initial story, Army Archer suddenly gave up to AIDS and tempered some of the harsh judgments directed at many people with AIDS. The stigma was so great, AIDS deaths were often attributed to secondary diseases such as cancer and pneumonia. Several of Hudson's friends were furious that instead of Archer had reported killing the star. But many news organizations said Army Archer's revelation forced the public to face the plague years earlier than it had. Karen Grigsby Bates, NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from stations and from allies committed LMPWS.org. And from Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for professionals and do-it-yourselfers. Catalogs at 1-800-HARDWOOD or lumberliquidators.com. This is NPR.
Insurance to drive. Well, the same thing, you'd be required to have health insurance.
And Amaya Wright, who was recently laid off from her job with the city of Gary, is also thrilled with the president's plan for covering those without health insurance.
I think that public option that he is creating and putting something there managed by a not-for-profit for that group, I think that is long overdue, and I say hallelujah that it's getting done.
And the president's speech did more than just elicit praise, raising some eyebrows in this supportive group.
I thought it was interesting that he threw out tort reform.
Judy Tarek works for the Lake Area United Way.
That to me was more the president extending a hand across the aisle.
Tarek says she believes the president did a good job dispelling the myths and misinformation about his health care plan. Bottom line, Dan Murchak says, is that this group of Hoosiers believes the president made his case.
Matter of fact, I think he said something to the fact that he's not the first president, but he will be the last president. He's going to get this fixed. Now, those are pretty big words to say, and I'm sure there were some people shaking their heads on the other side of the aisle there. But this group believes in that, and I think a lot of Americans, and it's really not a Democrat or Republican thing.
After all, Murchak says, this president has already done something that many never thought possible in changing the longtime red state of Indiana blue.